Really smart. Joker with the only fool. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. My name is Osa. It is Independence Day, so happy Independence Day to people who celebrate it. Happy polling day to the Brits. And, well, here we are, back on Glenleathann. It is now September. We actually have a clear day today. It's going to rain at midnight, so that's good. I think I want to take out this thing here. So, all of the fields are done as far as harvesting is concerned. It is now time to get back out there. We have one field to lime. We have a couple of fields to fertilise. So we will need the fertiliser sprayer later. And since the Massey Ferguson is the vehicle that's set up for that, we will be using that. Oops. Now, we are down to £12,000 in the bank, which is a little worrying, although we don't have any more loan payments until October 1. So that is why we have no money. We had to pay out about £30,000 in loan repayments last month, or beginning of the month, midnight. And this needs to be filled up with lime. I hope we have enough lime. Oh. Also, I hope I did. Let's look at the precision farming. I have not. So, this field here. Oh, good grief. Needs all of that. That joins up there. This field here, I don't think I've got enough for that. Oh, it let me though. Okay, that's that entire field, and we now have minus 3,000 money. So, keep the bank happy. Take out a loan. Amount 25,000 for 3 years. It's probably going to be the first loan I pay back, but it just strikes me as a good idea to have some operating capital just in case. I could have reduced my grief by taking out the big loan for 2 years instead of 1. But like I said when I took it out, that is going to get repaid before the end of this month. It does put me in a bit of a bind though, because I was thinking, if we go to here, we have a ton of grass silage which is going to be sold this year, or this month. I can find it. Grass, clover silage, grass silage, that one there. So it's currently worth 260. Which is poor. September. If I could wait till next month, we would get a ton of extra. We'd be up around 300, I would guess. although the maximum is 3 years. Probably 290, 280. But, you know, I was thinking ideally it would be nice to pay that all off. That's not going to work for us because of our loan payment. We have blah 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 automatic. Okay then. And I think for most of today I will be doing all of the driving because it's going to save us on worker costs. So some of those fields probably aren't too bad when it comes to excuse me, to pH levels. How hot? So all of the extra strong tea is gone. I am now down to Earl Grey today. And for the foreseeable future, I think I've got 2 boxes of about 160 tea bags of Earl Grey in the pantry, so that's going to be a thing for a while. Not that that's a bad thing, just it's going to be a thing for a while. Okay. And we can see we're not actually doing too bad going through this. I'm not even halfway around the field, but at this portion of the field we're not using a lot of lime. Obviously this bit just in front of us, also not going to be using a lot of lime. I'm a little bit concerned by how blue this edge is. We're probably not spreading any lime here. Maybe we are. Maybe we shouldn't be. There we go. So blue is, oh my goodness, this is so alkaline. This part of the field is probably not going to grow too well. The rest of this part of the field is of course already limed following the harvest. So I don't know what caused this to be so alkaline. But obviously we plant some stuff, we harvest some stuff, that's going to bring the pH down. Although, if we look at it, obviously a little bit of concern here is it's 8. With 7.5, so 8. Every harvest it drops 0.25, so 7.5, 7.25. We're looking at most of this part of the field as 6.75. It's going to take us 5 harvests to pull the lime in the outer parts of this field to anything resembling what plants like. So yeah, this is going to be possibly a bit of a problem. I might have to go back through that piece because it did look like we had some issues there. Now here, this field is very stripy because I ploughed it. So let's go here and clear that, and the stripes go away. Yay. Okay, this portion of the field we are going to be using a lot of lime because this hasn't been seen to in ages. Now the yellow belt on the left side, that's now part of the farm track, so it doesn't matter anymore. There's also going to be a little spike up here, which is not going to get limed. But all this in an attempt to keep the field fairly easy to harvest. Drifting away from the edge there. Be careful about that. I don't mind overlapping because automatic application, we're not going to apply lime where it doesn't need to be applied. So I think I'm going to go along the bottom here and just lime all of this piece of the field, or a lot of it. That bit probably won't get lime. No, it does. Okay. And again, there's a patch of blue there. There's another patch of blue ahead of us. So we do have some issues with a high pH. Obviously, in the real world, you'd probably come through with some acidic adjuster, like I have to do with my fish tank, and just even it out to what's best. Now, it looked like I drifted away from the edge here, so I am going to come back through here. Interesting. Is that just spreading? No, that's as far as it needs to go. Okay. So, I'll go back up to the top. I think it probably laid lime there more than it needed to. But I think the where it actually put it is less important, or is more precise. Okay, we've got a little bit along the track there, and then we'll head, I think, across the middle. Might be a good plan. So, FarmCon has begun in Fent, and there have been some videos of, do we want to say gameplay footage? Technically, yes, gameplay footage. It's kind of more like choreographed gameplay. I don't know that all of the gameplay is there. For example, we haven't seen any deforming lands or anything like that, but we have seen the lighting effects and fog. I'm kind of hoping now we might see bigger maps going forward. They got rid of the consoles, or the early generation consoles, and so that was one of the big factors. They just don't have the memory capacity to cope with a bigger map. Hopefully the modern consoles can cope with something a bit bigger. Also, something they touted when they released FarmSim22 was that looking across the valley here, this is actually a good shot to discuss this. Looking across there, there are buildings, there are other things out there which we can't actually see because there's trees in the way. And so the Giants engine doesn't attempt to plot those items on the map because they're behind a tree, you can't see them. Back on FarmSim 17, I had a huge problem playing Lawfolds. Driving towards the farm, I have the farm buildings in the distance. And a lot of the farm buildings had tools, just decoration tools, so chainsaws, power equipment, hand mowers, the sort of stuff that you have in sheds. And every single one of them was an object that needed to be plotted. And in Farm Sim 17, it would try and render all of them behind the wall of the sheds that they were hidden in. And so whenever I was driving towards the farm, I would have to drive like this and just follow the track and not look at the farm, because the graphics card was trying to plot so much stuff it couldn't see. It just chugged the graphics. Now this PC I bought probably halfway through my playthrough on Lawfolds. I started streaming when I bought this PC, but there was no way my previous PC could have streamed anything because of that graphical problem. With Farm Sim 22, they basically said, oh, you've got a load of stuff in the shed on the other side of that one, not going to bother plotting it. You've got a load of tractors and harvesters in that shed, not going to bother plotting them. We're just going to plot what you can see. Now, with Farm Sim 23, 25, the big thing they're showing off is ground fog. So, you look across this field and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. There'd be wispy water vapor clouds just at the ground level, obscuring partially some of the crop there. And as you look into the distance, if you look up close, the sky is blue. If you look in the distance, it's a far more washed out blue. Look out of your window, you'll see the same thing. It's we're going to have to buy more lime. I was afraid of that. So as you look out across whatever's in front of you, so long as you've got a reasonable view distance, you will see that colours wash out, and eventually it just becomes sort of shades of white. And that's what they're doing with Farm Sim 25, which is why I think they might be able to support larger maps, because the view distance needs to be that much more. But way in the distance, there's 500 trees over there, and you really can't you can see a very faded green of where the trees are. Your brain will fill in there's trees over there, but your eyes aren't seeing much of them because of the haze. And it works both ways. When I was learning to fly, you discover that when you're flying, a hot summer's day, your visibility is actually shorter than a dull overcast day. A dull overcast day, you can see 10 miles. But a bright sunny day, you can maybe see clearly 5 miles because of the haze. So again, that's something that might help with controlling view ranges on in Farm Sim 25. They've said we're getting deformable terrain. That doesn't seem to be a thing yet, or whether driving on a field like this, you're not going to see much deformation. But when it rains, you're going to start making ruts. So, and they haven't shown us any weather, just driving around in the sunlight, early morning mist on the ground, over the streams, that type of thing. It all looks very pretty, but we'll see where ends up going. The other major thing that a lot of people are crowing about is when they actually showed planting and harvesting the rice crop. What we have down where bottom right hand side of the UI, where you've got the speedometer and the age of the equipment and how much fuel you're running, and you've got I'm running in gear C3, so ABC, I presume I'm running in C3, so it's quite a high gear. There's C4 to go. Underneath that, there are 3 letters on the sample video which say GPS, which has a lot of people questioning, is GPS now a thing? Is GPS a thing for everything, or do you have to pay for it like you do front loader arms and consoles and the thing that what is it, the crop sensors and stuff like that? That's unclear, but there are 3 letters, GPS, and they might be meaningful, but we don't know. So that's something that we may see announced or confirmed at a later date. They did show us a drive through the American map, and the animal dealer has animals in the fields, and they move, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of exciting. Actually having moving animals, and they were in there was a pasture, there was a couple of cows in one under a shed, and there were a couple of sheep in the other one. You could see the sheep moving around. So potentially moving animals in the animal dealer, at least on Giant's animal dealer, might be a thing. Obviously, as far as mod mappers are concerned, we'll have to see how that gets coded. But hey, it's an improvement. They also showed us the full cycle of doing rice. So when you want to grow rice, you have greenhouses that you grow seed to saplings, and they come out of the greenhouses in pallets of saplings, and then you take those, and they used a Fendt tractor with a front loader because they're at Fendt, and took the pallet over to the Izeki rice planter and loaded that up with a pallet of rice saplings, and then drove out into a large muddy puddle and planted them all. So yeah, rice is coming. There are 2 they did confirm there are 2 rice crops. Long grain rice, and I think they just said long grain rice and short grain rice was the differentiation. There is a rice belt in America, so it's not it's not a crop that you're really limited to looking for Asian maps to plant them in. You can plant rice in certain regions of America, so probably not Canada or Michigan if you have a Canadian or Michigan map. And then they also showed a crop of green stuff, which clutch. stated was it Clutch? Might not have been Clutch. Somebody, might have been the farm sim guy actually, said they'd claimed was the new crop spinach. So we're probably going to get spinach harvesters, if spinach is not harvested the same way as carrots, onions and red beets. We'll probably have some new spinach harvesting equipment. One of the reviewers did suggest that you weren't going to be limited to planting rice in a self-propelled planter. There were also tractors, tractor-hauled rice planters, so we may get to see those, or yeah, that will be a thing. So cheap way of getting into rice, you can buy a tractor planted or tractor planter, hauled planter, and plant rice that way. Not sure if you have to put metal wheels on your tractor. Maybe that might be another tyre option for some tractors. And then finally they did show the Ezeki rice harvester, but also harvesting oh good grief, what is it? Harvesting rice using a main combine.